Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second class today for IELTS. Hello, everyone, and welcome again today for the second session of IELTS. We are continuing with the topic of reading today. If you're continuing from today's earlier class, then hello again. I'm glad that you're sticking with today's lessons. If you're fresh and joining now, there was another reading example earlier today, about an hour ago. Thanks for asking about my leg, Mohammed. It's doing much better, about 85%. I was actually just doing some stretches to help relax the muscles. Awesome. So today we are doing IELTS reading example. This is lesson 2 for today. Tomorrow we will be focusing on speaking. There will also be 2 classes at this time and 3 hours earlier. The materials are coming from our websites at aehelp.com for academic English help, and that's for academic IELTS. And if you're looking for immigration to Australia, Canada, other parts of the world, then you are looking for gieltshelp.com, which is General IELTS Help. Visit us there, join us there. I included a special coupon code in today's class. It's LIVE20, 20% discount. The website has a lot of content. It looks like this. When you're a user, you will have a My Student account where you can log in. And then in your My Student account, you have a full interactive course that opens up with all the sections of the IELTS. We will use some materials from here for today's class. You can practice live speaking with other students by clicking on that button, or you can also click on this button, Start Speaking, and find students there. Again, I'm starting some live Skype interviews, so I'll talk more about that later, guys. Congratulations to those of you who got some good scores on your IELTS exams, and good luck to those who are doing your IELTS exams this weekend. The website is aehelp.com, so aehelp.com, that's Academic English Help. There are 6 full practice exams that you can download, and of course we have 40 high-definition lesson videos for all of the different sections of IELTS and all of the audio CDs. Our audio CDs have audio for the listening section, but we also include audio for reading sections, and we have sample speaking, okay? So I see that Vijay Kumar says you've been studying IELTS for 6 months. I hope you're also studying with us. Our unique materials help you improve communication. That's how well you use language, as well as your English skills, vocabulary, and grammar. A lot of students, guys and girls, make the mistake that they think IELTS is just an English test. It is not just an English test. It is also testing your communication skills. So even if you have good English, you can still be challenged by IELTS with communication. So Milad, I will be putting up my Skype, well, not my Skype ID, but I'll put up my email, and then everybody who wants to have Skype interview lessons with me can contact me through email, and we can set that up. So I'll do that in a second here. Actually, I'll put it up right now on the Word document, and then guys and girls can copy it down. Just send me an email there. So Skype, IELTS speaking interview practice, contact me at sorry, not the website, at Adrian at aehelp.com. Okay, so if you send me an email there, then we can discuss more about the live Skype interviews. That's something extra for you there. So again, we're focusing on IELTS reading. This is lesson 2 today. This is going to be a little bit more intense. I'm going to move through it at a nice intermediate to high level English speed. You can use the code LIVE20 again for a 20% discount. Also, you have Super Chat, some of you in some countries, in your live stream. That's the $ beside the emoji. So you can sponsor us there, send us a strong question or something like that. And then I'll be happy about that. I'll be thankful for it. And of course, I'll always address Super Chat questions and comments. But that doesn't mean that I won't pay attention to your other comments. Please, if you have a question, if something's not clear, just ask me, and I'll do my best to explain and give you some answers. Aaron, speaking will be tomorrow's class. Our IELTS materials at aehelp.com do include a lot for speaking. You can find speaking partners with other students there. We have a free course there as well, a free trial demo course, and you can use the speaking option there too. Also, there's a lot of writing help, so we cover all sections of the exam. Okay, today, by the way, I see some of you are saying that you've been studying IELTS for 3 months, some of you for 6. Definitely it's a good idea to start studying for IELTS at least 3 months before you sit the test. Before I get heavy into it, just a quick check. Can everybody hear me okay? And can everybody see the material on the board okay? Can everybody hear and see okay? Awesome. It's because we had a little bit of audio trouble yesterday, so good. Okay, so let's get into it. This is our second exam book. We have all of our own original materials, and I've already fast forwarded to our reading passage. So for this second class, we will be looking at this passage. Now, this is for academic IELTS. For general IELTS, of course, we have different kinds of reading. Again, if you can do a good job on academic IELTS reading, you can definitely do a good job on general IELTS reading. The main difference for general IELTS is you have shorter articles that are about more general topics, like joining a club or going to a council meeting or something like that. Okay, in this case, we're looking at Battle for the World's Tallest Building. That is the title. Always read the titles of passages. It's very important. It will give you a general idea, and use the title to predict what the passage will be about. I see your comment there, Vote, about getting confused finding the list of headings. I will help you with that. This question does include list of headings. As you can see, that will be one of the questions that we will look at today, and we'll discuss the strategy that works effectively for list of headings questions. All right. And I see CK North 99 that you have weak writing skills. That's okay. We covered writing yesterday, and we'll do more writing lessons as well. Again, when you join our course, you can choose your area of weakness and focus on that. Okay, so we won't be going through each step in as much detail as the first class. Please subscribe to our channel, and then you can look at all the lessons. You can look at the earlier lesson from today, where you have more detailed examples, or sorry, explanations for step-by-step on IELTS reading passage. This time we'll move through it in a little bit more speedy format. So again, this is a review from earlier today. Reading section. Step 1 is look at all of the titles and choose the easiest one, the one that is the most familiar. Again, remember that the easiest topics are usually physical topics, so topics that deal with actual physical information. Like in this one, Battle for the World's Tallest Building. It's very visible, it's physical, buildings are real, we can touch them, we can taste them, we can smell them. So it's going to be a little bit of an easier topic. So physical topics are usually easier than abstract. Abstract topics are like sociology, for example. Excuse me. That was a sneeze. All right. So definitely choose physical topics first. They're usually easier unless you're a sociology major and you're more familiar with that. Now, step 2 for reading is once you chose the topic, read the title and analyze it with critical thinking. Ask what, why, how. Okay, so step number 2, once you've chosen the topic that's going to be easier for you, is analyze the title. So here, again, the title is Battle for the World's Tallest Building. So let's ask what, why, and how about this title, okay? So what is a battle for the world's tallest building? What does that mean? What do you guys and girls think? What does the author mean by battle for the world's tallest building? What is he or she trying to express by that? Yeah, so El Matador says it's a competition of construction. Can you be a bit more specific? So what kind of competition for construction? It is competing for constructing what exactly? Don't jump ahead, Surya. You're jumping into the why question. Yeah, and competing for constructing the tallest building or the highest building, by who? By who? Who do you think competes to build the highest buildings and the highest structures? So who does that? By different countries, for sure. I would agree that countries do it. And by builders, by people. Yeah, absolutely. So always make sure to answer these what, why, how questions in as much detail as possible. Don't have very short answers because that's not going to help you too much to predict the passage. So try to give a full sentence answer, okay? So full sentence answer. So by people, thank you for your positive feedback, CK North. I appreciate that. We will be making lots of videos, and again, to really get a nice streamlined feel for our course and everything like that, visit us at aehelp.com, okay? All right, so the next question we ask is why? Why do people and countries compete to build higher and higher structures? And try to paraphrase your words. So if you know some other words for buildings, then use it. So paraphrase as much as possible. What's the answer? One of you said prestige. Okay, that's a good answer. What else? Why else would we want to compete for these mega high structures? What else is the goal behind it? To avoid urban sprawl, yeah. So to make better use of land, yeah, absolutely. For tourism, sure. I agree, that could be a goal. Status symbol, what kind of a status symbol? What does it show if you can build the highest building in the world? What do you show by that? If you can build the highest building in the world, what can you show by that? Development, yeah. What kind of development? You're right, Mohammed. What kind of development? Technology, that's right, Aya. Technological advancement. Okay, to make better use of land, tourism, technological advancements. That's right, Hadil. That was one of the other one that I was looking for is wealth. It shows the wealth of a country because tall buildings cost a lot of money to make, and they also make a lot of money as well, potentially. So to make better use of land, tourism, technological advancement, wealth, these are all reasons for creating large buildings. Also, power. People feel power when they build these large buildings. Okay, good. That's a great start. Now let's jump to the how. How do people construct higher and higher buildings? So how do we do this? How do we construct these ever-growing, bigger and bigger buildings? How do we do it? What is needed? Knowledge in architecture, absolutely right. Yep, knowledge in architecture. Man and machine power, highly agree on that. Better infrastructure and equipment, that's right. One of you said advanced engineering, investment, money is definitely important. Further knowledge in physics, having a strong foundation, absolutely. So this actually gives us a good idea of why people are so driven to build these big buildings, because there is a lot involved, and it definitely does show a general advancement in the ability of that society. So a variety of skills. So that is the what, why, how. Okay, quick question for everyone. What's the next step? Step number 3, what do I do next? For reading. So what should I do next? This is an important one, so I'm going to ask you instead of just steamrolling through step 3. What's step 3? What is the next step? Read some of the questions. That's right, Prosofa. So read questions that have information contained in the passage. So here, what we mean is read questions like summary completion, fill in blanks, and then do not read questions with extra or false information, like true, false, not given. Okay? Don't read those kinds of questions or multiple choice answers. For example, they are confusing. Now, there's one exception. Okay, so there is one exception to this rule or this strategy. So before you read the passage, look at the questions, skim read the ones that contain information in the passage, skip or avoid the questions that have extra or false information. There is one exception to this rule or strategy, one question type. Does anybody know the exception to the strategy? Which one is the exception to this rule? So which one is a question that has extra information, but you should read it before the passage anyway? Anybody know what type of question that is? It's an important one to know. Multiple choice, Mohammed Rafi? No. The question is, what type of reading question, so what kind of reading question has extra or false information, but you should read it before the passage? That's right, Hardik. First out of the gate. Good for you. List of headings. Okay. So the list of headings, of course, has extra answers that are false answers, but you need to read this question before you read the passage, okay? There's a very important reason that I will explain in a moment here. But do notice that it's the only question which IELTS actually puts before the passage. So they're not crazy, and they do have a logic behind that. So so you need to respect and understand that, okay? So this is why IELTS puts this type of question before the passage. The IELTS is written the same way that you should write your task 2, okay? So the order of information in a paragraph is what, why, how. Okay, this is also what you do in IELTS Task 2 essays. So you write a topic sentence, that's what. Then you write an explanation, that's why. Then you write an example, that's how, or a further explanation, and that's how, okay? IELTS is well written, and they do the same thing. Different types of questions focus on the different what, why, or how. List of headings questions focus on the what question. Meaning, what is this paragraph about? Okay, so list of heading questions focus on what is this paragraph about? And by understanding that key piece of information for each paragraph and answering the list of heading questions correctly, you will understand the rest of the passage much more, and the other questions, the fill in the blanks, the multiple choice, and so on, will be a lot easier as well. Here's the sad news, guys. So this is the sad news, the bad news. If you're having trouble with the list of heading questions, it's also affecting other parts of your mark, okay? So you definitely need to answer well with the list of headings questions, all right? The good news is if you're doing a good job with list of heading questions, then you probably understand the passage well and doing well on the other questions also, okay? So what's the strategy for list of heading questions? So read each one and paraphrase it. That's step number 1, okay? I'll even show that a little bit differently so it's more clear. All right. So read each question or read each answer and then paraphrase it. So let's jump back to our example here with the world's tallest building. And take note of the example as well, okay? So here are our list of heading questions. That's right, Hadil. I think, Hadil, if I'm not mistaken, you probably joined our full course. I think I saw that you've joined before, so you're probably applying those strategies, I'm thinking, and if that's the case, then good for you, good for you. During the break between the two classes, I actually just got a very nice email from a student who got 7 on all of her sections, and she thought that the strategies were just fantastic for the IELTS. So, and that's really, guys and girls, not really just to sell our products, but it's the actual truth. I'd tell you her name, but that's I'd like to be a little bit more discreet and keep that private. Anyway, list of headings. So let's look at the first one: a controversial designation. A controversial designation. If you don't know what it means, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Just skip it. Okay? If you underline the important words, Aya, you probably are not going to do anything special, because almost always the answer is a paraphrase. So, and actually sometimes if you underline the word designation, it could be in a different paragraph. So sometimes IELTS is tricky that way, that you see the word in another paragraph that is not actually the topic for that one. So careful with underlining the words. It's much better just to paraphrase as much as possible. At home, paraphrase on paper with pencil. In the IELTS, you can only paraphrase in your mind. You don't have enough time to do it on paper and pencil. But right now, we'll actually use the projection here. Okay, so a controversial designation. Let's go back to our notes here. So controversial designation. Anybody know what the meaning of controversial is? So this is also some great vocabulary practice for you. Excellent vocabulary practice to be paraphrasing list of headings. So controversial, go word by word. What is the meaning of controversial? What's another way to say controversial? It's an issue. It's what? Debatable. Yeah, debatable is a good word. Another way to say it, anybody? There's usually more than one way. A disagreed on. Yeah. So debatable, disagreed. Opposing ideas, that's another way. Yeah. Conflicting is another one, guys and girls. Conflicting. So conflict, a different word form here. Conflicting. Okay. What is another way to say designation? What is the meaning of designation? Debatable, disputable, conflicting, disagreed. Yep, those are all good. Excellent. I'm liking how I'm seeing a lot of nice synonyms coming up. There are different ways to paraphrase, remember. Antonym negatives, not agreed on. Designation. What is a designation? Specification is good. Yep. Sure. Specification. What else? Position. Yeah, absolutely. Position is okay. There's still a better one that I haven't seen unless I missed it. Rank is okay. Post is okay. There's a better one than that. What's another way to say it? What's another way to say designation? I'll give you a hint. In the military, General, captain, colonel, these are all designations. That's why I think somebody said rank, but I'm not thinking of rank here. Name is okay. Or maybe even more applicable or more accurate is title. So all of these are good synonyms. So debatable specification, disagreed position, conflicting name, a disputable title. Okay, notation. Those are all correct. All right, we won't go into this much detail for each one, but that's the idea. So number 2, the Industrial Revolution. What's another way to say Industrial Revolution? It's an interesting one. What is the Industrial Revolution? This is an important one. This could help you. It could be one of the major topics for your IELTS reading or listening. What is the Industrial Revolution? Business growth, manufacturing growth. When, okay, let me help you a little bit here. When did the Industrial Revolution take place? So here we're using not synonyms, but we're using descriptive paraphrasing. So here we're not using synonyms, we're using descriptive paraphrasing. We have to describe what the Industrial Revolution was. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken about my history, it was not the 18th century. When did it happen? When did the Industrial Revolution start, and where did it start in the world? Who can tell me? Definitely not the 21st, Deepak. The 21st century or the 20th century is the information boom. Okay, the industrial boom is much, much older. If somebody watched the Olympics that was in England, you would have seen that incorporated in the opening ceremonies. The internet is a revolution, but it's not the right one. Okay, so again, just some basic history, guys and girls, is very, very important. So the Industrial Revolution, I believe, started as early as the 16th century, but I could be wrong. So it's the manufacturing growth of the, 17th century in Great Britain. Okay, so a lot of factories and pollution. Sure. Okay. Let's go back to the other one. Buildings in space. So buildings in space. Another way to say it. Anybody tell me what are some other ways to say buildings in space? Yep. Construction in an area, sure. Or structures in a space. Now, if I don't know, so here's another hint for everyone, and this is something that you can do. It's not the cosmos here. I don't think that we're referring to the cosmos as in the universe here in space, but I think we're thinking of like space as in land area, okay? If I don't know any synonyms for space, what can I do? Well, if you're using Microsoft Word, you have an option which is called you find it under review usually. I don't know if you can see this, but usually under review, you will find this. And you find a neat little thing up here called a thesaurus. Okay, use your thesaurus function, and I highly recommend for those of you who are very serious about IELTS and you need a score of 7 or more to have an English version of Microsoft Word. Okay, it's a very good idea to have an English version of Microsoft Word in your computer studying for any English exam, especially for IELTS. So click on the thesaurus, and then up on the side, you have, I mean, it's probably too small for you to see these, but you have a whole bunch of synonyms for space. Now, it's giving me things like universe, galaxy, and so on, but down here, I can see that it's giving me some other words like area, plot, place, seat, and so on. So these are the nouns, or room, leg room, breathing room, gap, opening, and so on. So here I can probably use the word plot. Plot is a good synonym in this case. Okay, plot is a piece of land that you build on, or location is another good one as well. Thank you, Pallavi. This video is going to be uploaded, Deepak, so for those of you who are not able to watch the full video or the full lesson, just make sure to subscribe to our channel, and you will be able to find this video uploaded about 2 hours after we're finished. This lesson will be roughly an hour and a half, 90 minutes long, so bear with me and keep on learning. All right. Let's hide this, give us a little bit more breathing room, and then back we go to the questions. So that was C. Okay, let's move a little bit faster. Those are some examples. I'm not going to write down for each one the synonyms. Let's do some of them verbally. So fast and impressive. What is another way to say fast and impressive? I'd like to have you engage the lesson, use your brain. Have those cells firing and working away. What's another way to say fast and impressive? Yep, quick is another way to say fast. Quick and fascinating, sure. Impressive is fascinating. Astonishing. Yep, dazzling. To make it correct, AJ, for the right word form. Captivating is a good one as well. Vegeta, it's a nice way. Okay, great. So we have some good synonyms there. The reign of the churches. What does that mean, the reign of the churches? Another way to say reign of the churches. What is another way to say reign? Rule, that's right, KJ, Samte. Nice. So reign means to rule, like the reign of a king, the rule of a king. And here we're talking about the rule of the churches, right? Another way to say churches, of religion, maybe, right? Okay, let's keep going here. The Strasbourg Cathedral, probably not too many ways to say that. It's a name. There's not a lot of point in paraphrasing names. A cathedral is a large type of church, okay? A part of human history. What's another way to say a part of human history? Another way to say part of human history. Yeah, a basilica is the largest of cathedrals, Pallavi, that's right. Keep it simple, guys. Some paraphrasing, you don't want to overthink it. So a part of human history, you can just paraphrase it in a very simple way. An area of ancient human events is kind of okay, Chandra, but again, it's too complex. You want to keep it more simple. Yeah, like people's past. That's right, Pallavi. So facts of people's past, or of past generations, okay? Keep it simple. The first step for your paraphrasing should always be simple paraphrasing. Keep it simple. Only then think about more complex paraphrasing. Technology, logistics, and engineering. Okay, information, management, and building. For example, the industrial acceleration. Industrial meaning building or manufacturing. What does acceleration mean? Anybody know the meaning of acceleration? Events in the past of humans, Jacqueline. Absolutely. That's another way to do it. Absolutely. INSIC, this is a little bit of a faster paced, more intense lesson. If you're having trouble understanding, you can ask me questions, and there are some easier lessons on the channel as well. Acceleration means, yes, increase in speed. Okay? In your car, the gas pedal is the accelerator. So acceleration means to speed up. That's right, Alex. You're saying speed up, and you're absolutely right. Moving faster and faster, Xava. That's right. Tall structures of the ancient world. High buildings from long ago. Okay, keep it simple. High buildings from long ago. Looking towards the future. Being a futurist. Planning ahead. Okay, looking towards the future. Planning ahead is a very, very easy way to say that. Okay. Skyscrapers, monuments, those are all high rises. Those are all great synonyms for tall buildings. Okay, don't forget to look at the example. So example paragraph B is X. So X is given, so you should cross that one out. Sometimes students make the mistake of writing the example as one of the answers. That will never be the case. So tall structures of the ancient world, that's for paragraph B. That's already given for us, so we can cross that one out. So we really only have 10 choices, okay, not 11. We need to answer those for paragraph A, C, D, and F. Okay, that is the waiting for tomorrow or planning for tomorrow. Again, sorry guys and girls who are from Slavic countries like Russia, Ukraine, and so on. I can't read Cyrillic. My parents are probably crying because I know my dad and my mom can, but I can't read Cyrillic, so that means I can't pronounce your name. But waiting for tomorrow is okay. Planning for tomorrow is a better way to say it. Okay, planning for tomorrow is a better way to say it. Okay, so let's look at the other questions. Let's look for the other questions and see whether or not we should read them before the passage. Okay, so here we go. Yes, no, not given. Should I read this question, yes, no, not given, before the passage? From Kazakhstan, got you, okay. So should I read this before the passage? No, definitely not. Good job for those of you who realize that you should not be reading yes, no, not given questions before the passage. They confuse you. It's possible that 2 or 3 of these answers are not given in the passage or are false and will confuse you even more. Okay? So please do not read these types of questions before the passage. All right. Then we have some multiple choice questions. Should I read multiple choice questions before the passage? Should I be reading these before the passage? Got some yeses, got some nos, mostly nos. Okay, guys, girls, definitely don't read the answers, okay? So do not read these, okay? We don't know the correct answer. So we shouldn't read those because 3 of the 4 are wrong. They will be confusing. If I read all of this and I read all of this, it means I've read 6 pieces of information at least that are wrong and confusing. Don't do that. There's no point to do that. What you can do with multiple choice is read the question. Okay? So you can read the question. What according to some commentators, is the difference between buildings and structures? Which statement best summarizes the message of the passage? So I can read that, but I don't want to read the answers. Okay, so keep it simple. All right. Now that we've looked at the questions and we've paraphrased the list of headings, the list of headings we want to answer as we read, okay? So let's make a note of that, and then we will, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to play the full audio, and after that I will go through paragraph by paragraph. So here we go for our notes. Okay, so answer, this is part 2 of the strategy. Answer list of heading questions after each paragraph. Okay, so as you read each paragraph, you want to answer these questions. Now, the first thing we're going to do for practice today is we are just simply going to read the whole passage. And again, our website, aehelp.com for academic IELTS, and our website, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, has not just all of the audio for listening sections, but we have all of the audio recorded for reading sections as well. You don't have that in the real IELTS, but certainly at home when you're practicing for IELTS, it's really helpful to have audio for the reading section as well. So that's what I'm going to play for you right now, is the audio for this while you read. So try to read the passage at the same speed as this native British English speaker. Okay, so here we go, back to the beginning, and then all is true. I have it loaded up here for you. So you know what, let's just give me one moment here, bear with me. So the tallest buildings.
Battle for the world's tallest building. The desire to construct taller and taller structures has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years. Dating back to ancient Egypt and through to modern day, the construction of tall structures has mirrored advances in technology, logistics, and engineering. Today, the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and points of civic and national pride for residents. Ancient Egyptians believed that to be closer to the sky was to be closer to the realm of the gods and afterlife. While regular Egyptians had to settle for burial in the ground, the pharaohs got to be entombed much closer to the sky in purpose-built pyramids, the world's first truly high structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built in approximately 2560 BCE for the burial of the pharaoh Khufu. Reaching a height of 481 feet at the time of construction, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. It wasn't until the year 1311 CE and the construction of the Lincoln Cathedral in England that the height of the Great Pyramid was surpassed. At 525 feet, it was only slightly taller. Throughout the period from 1311 to 1880, the title of world's tallest building changed hands a number of times, through both destruction and construction. But each structure was a European church. Interestingly, the world's tallest building from 1647 to 1874, the Strasbourg Cathedral in France, was actually shorter than the original height of the Great Pyramid. Standing 469 feet, the cathedral was approximately 13 feet taller than the Great Pyramid's contemporary height, which had been reduced 35 feet from its original stature by erosion. 1884 marked the first time the world's tallest building stood in North America. The Washington Monument, standing 555 feet in Washington, D.C., is also the world's tallest obelisk and tallest all-stone structure. During this period, engineers and architects were reaping the fruits of the 19th century's Industrial Revolution, which led to accelerating advances in construction, engineering, and technology. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower was completed and stood as the world's tallest building at 986 feet for over 40 years. The designation of world's tallest building returned to the United States in 1932 with the construction of the 1,250-foot Empire State Building in New York City, one of the incredible architectural achievements of the 20th century. It was completed in just over a year, an astonishing pace. The first building in the world to boast over 100 stories, the Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest for 36 years. After domination by Egypt, Western Europe, and the United States, 1975 saw Toronto, Canada's CN Tower steal away the designation of world's tallest with a height of 1,815 feet. Over a third of a mile high, the CN Tower was the world's tallest for 32 years. This designation is disputed by some academics, as they believe a building must be inhabited or be worked in order to count as a building. The CN Tower is neither worked in nor lived in, though it does have an observation deck. So while it was unambiguously the world's tallest structure during this period, opinions differ on whether it was the world's tallest building. 2007 clarified any debate there was concerning the designation. With the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, it became undoubtedly the world's tallest structure and building, standing 2,722 feet, precisely 50% higher than the CN Tower. The Burj Khalifa soars over half a mile into the sky. Where do we go from here? What heights will buildings of the future reach? Will we one day construct buildings that reach into space? While the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings may no longer be proximity to the gods, the desire to touch the sky with our creations remains.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so that is the passage, all of the paragraphs for it. And again, all of our reading section passages have audio with different native British readers reading them. It's the same for the general IELTS as well. And as I said before, we're probably the only company in the world that includes audio for the reading and speaking sections in our materials. So do take the time to join us at our websites at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and at gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. And in today's class, I'm giving you this live 20, LIV 20 for a 20% discount from our products. Okay, so make sure you join us there, and you can, of course, use Super Chat. So let's now look at this passage paragraph by paragraph, answering the list of headings questions, and then we will answer the remaining questions, and I'll review some strategies there for you for the true, false, not given, and multiple choice as well. Those are some troublesome types of questions, I know, for some students. So, okay, here we go. So, battle for the world's tallest building, paragraph number 1. The desire to construct taller and taller structures has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years, dating back to ancient Egypt and through the modern day. The construction of tall structures has mirrored advances in technology, logistics, and engineering. Today, the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and points of civic and national pride for residents. Notice how the information here is absolutely mirroring our critical thinking when we looked at the title, Battle for the World's Tallest Building, and asked what, why, how. So going back to the list of headings questions, we paraphrase some of these, and one of them will absolutely make sense for paragraph A. The question is, which one? So which one is the right answer for paragraph A? Anybody know? Anybody know? So what is the best answer? Some of you are saying 8, technology, logistics, and engineering. Maybe. 7, a part of human history. Maybe. Who thinks it's 7? Who thinks it's 8? I'd like to see some multiple answers here. So a lot of you are saying 7, a part of human history. Technology, logistics, and engineering is probably too general, so I would maybe go with a part of human history. So we can look back and see if we agree. But another technique or skill that you can use here is don't be shy. If you're not sure about this, come back to it. You'll probably have a chance at the end. So I can see that some of you, it's a toss-up between 7 and 8. So all you need to do in this case is simply do this, okay? So if you're not clear about which one, then go like this. So go 7 or 8. Put it up here for you. So 7 or 8. And maybe, just maybe, later on, you'll notice that that one fits better for another paragraph. And if that's the case, then you can make the correction. So for now, just do this and then decide later. Okay, I can see that there's a pretty good split between students, so leave it like that and decide later. We'll come back to it, okay? So let's look now at C, which is question 2 on your answer sheet, okay? So let's look at that one. But let's read paragraph B because that will be important for the other questions. So paragraph B. Ancient Egyptians believed that to be closer to the sky was to be closer to the realm of the gods and afterlife. While regular Egyptians had to settle for burial in the ground, the pharaohs got to be entombed much closer to the sky in purpose-built pyramids, the world's first truly high structures. The Great Pyramid of Giza was built in approximately 2560 BCE for the burial of the pharaoh Khufu, reaching a height of 481 feet at the time of construction. The Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. And again, that one is given to us. That's number 10, structures of the ancient world. So we know that we are not dealing with that, but we do know that that's what that paragraph is about. That gives us the what answer, okay? Not to forget about that. That gives us the what answer. Okay, so going on to paragraph C. It wasn't until the year 1311 CE and the construction of the Lincoln Cathedral in England that the height of the Great Pyramid was surpassed. At 525 feet, it was only slightly taller. Throughout the period from 1311 to 1880, the title of the world's tallest building changed hands a number of times through both destruction and construction. But each structure was a European church. Interestingly, the world's tallest building from 1647 to 1874, the Strasbourg Cathedral in France, was actually shorter than the original height of the Great Pyramid, standing 469 feet. The cathedral was approximately 13 feet taller than the Great Pyramid's contemporary height, which had been reduced 35 feet from its original stature by erosion. Okay, is the bottom of the paragraph there. Okay, so let's go back and look for the answer for C. So, what do you guys and girls think? Ladies and gentlemen, what is your opinion? Which of these is the best answer for paragraph C? And remember, this is dealing with the what. The what is the general, the global idea or information in the paragraph. It is not 6. 6 is much, much too specific. Ay, 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 ay. I see a lot of wrong answers going up. I've seen only 2 correct answers so far. Now I've seen 3 correct answers. 4 correct, 5 correct answers. It is not this one, okay? 17th, 18th century is not considered to be ancient. All of you answering number 5 is correct, okay? The reign of the churches. So this whole paragraph talks about an era of humanity where the churches were the tallest buildings in the world. So going back here, C, the answer is Roman numeral V, which is equal to 5, okay? But you need to put that in your answer sheet. So the reign of the churches is the correct answer. It's number 5, okay? Notice that the whole paragraph is talking about churches, okay? So it talks a little bit about pyramids, but basically it says here that each structure was a European church. This is the key information of really what this paragraph is about, okay? So you need to focus and pay attention to the main idea of the paragraph, okay? It's the reign of the churches. So churches rule the title as the tallest buildings in the world of that time, okay? Not to be confused, okay? Again, this takes practice. Sometimes I make these strategies look easy, but it does take practice. So you need to practice these at home with some of our other exams. All right, let's go on to paragraph D. 1884 marked the first time the world's tallest building stood in North America. The Washington Monument, standing 555 feet in Washington, D.C., is also the world's tallest obelisk. Obelisk, by the way, is the statue dedicated to Ra, the sun god, the god of life, the Egyptian god, and the obelisk monument in Washington, D.C. is perhaps the largest of that. So, obelisk in the tallest all-stone structure. During this period, engineers and architects were reaping the fruits of the 19th century Industrial Revolution, which led to accelerating advances in construction, engineering, and technology. In 1889, the Eiffel Tower was completed and stood as the world's tallest building at 986 feet for over 40 years, okay? So for over 40 years. So jumping back to paragraph D here, which one is the best answer for D? What is the best answer for D? Think about it, guys and girls. Don't rush, so think. I see 1 correct answer, 2 correct answers given by the same person. Now I'm starting to see some more correct answers. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Clearly, it's usually a good hint when most people are giving, or the majority are giving that answer, that it's going to be the correct answer. It's not always true. But anybody who answered 9, the industrial acceleration, okay? So speeding up industry, technology, okay? That's what this is about. I'll show you where that is. So here, during this period, engineers and architects were reaping the fruits of the 19th century industrial revolution, which led to accelerating advances in construction. Okay, so there you go. That definitely gives you the answer that this paragraph is talking about, the advantages of faster industrialization during this time in human history. So the correct answer there is 9. Okay. Okay, let's move to paragraph E. Again, practice makes perfect, guys. Practice, practice, practice. Join our website. Really, it's not going to hurt you. I'm not just trying to sell you on it. I know that it will help you improve your IELTS score. And that's why I'm really pushing you to join us there. Even if you just use the free version of our website, that's still better than nothing. If you're short on cash or you don't like to spend money, then just join the free version of the course and go through that. There's still lots of value there. Okay, so E, the designation of the world's tallest building returned to the United States in 1932 with the construction of the 1,250-foot Empire State Building in New York City. Very, very famous. Anybody ever see the Empire State Building in real life? It's one of my bucket lists. I haven't seen it yet. I definitely would like to see that and Niagara Falls. I'm sure I'll go there sometime in the next couple of years. I live on the other side of Canada, although right now I'm in Europe. So anyhow, one of the incredible architectural achievements of the 20th century, it was completed in just over a year at an astonishing pace. The first building in the world to boast over 100 stories, the Empire State Building stood as the world's tallest for 36 years. For those of you who haven't seen it, you're in the same boat as I am, but it's something to look forward to. Like I say, it's definitely on my bucket list as one of the to-dos. Okay, let's look at the answers here. So obviously this paragraph is mostly dedicated to the Empire State Building. Anybody know what is the best answer for this one? What is the best answer for this one? Okay, I see some good answers coming up there. There's a majority of good answers. All right, looks like we have unanimous. Yeah, absolutely. Salah, be very, very careful. Don't mix up the V with the X, okay? I'm pretty sure you wanted to write 4, so don't make an accidental mistake on the test. Fast and impressive is the best answer because it was built quickly and it was the first building to have over 100 stories, so it's very impressive. So fast and impressive is definitely the correct answer for the Empire State Building, okay? So paragraph E is fast and impressive, which is number 4. Okay, but again, in the IELTS, you want to use the Roman numeral IV. All right, let's jump to paragraph F. So, after domination by Egypt, Western Europe, and the United States, 1975 saw Toronto, Canada's CN Tower, steal away the designation of world's tallest with a height of 1,815 feet, over a third of a mile high. The CN Tower was the world's tallest for 32 years. This designation is disputed by some academics as they believe a building must be inhabited or be worked in order to count as a building. The CN Tower is neither worked nor lived in, though it does have an observation deck. So while it was unambiguously the world's tallest structure during this period, opinions differ on whether it was the world's tallest building. 2007 clarified any debate there was concerning the designation, with the construction of the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. Also another building I would love to see. In the United Arab Emirates, it became undoubtedly the world's tallest structure and building, standing 2,722 feet, precisely 50% higher than the CN Tower. The Burj Khalifa soars over half a mile into the sky. Wow, what an amazing, amazing construction of or feat of human history, I must say. So let's see which is the best answer for this one. So, anybody, what do you think? Yeah, there's quite a unanimous. So this is probably one of the easier ones to nail, okay? I would agree. It's number one, a controversial designation. So most of the paragraph talks about whether or not the world's tallest building is the same as the world's tallest structure, right? It basically says, hey, if it's a building, at least somebody should live or work in it. It can't just be a giant, long, big stick in the sky, kind of as the CN Tower, although as a Canadian, I am proud of the CN Tower. It's quite a beautiful piece of engineering as well, but definitely not the Burj Khalifa. So the answer for this one is going to be I, or the Arabic numeral 1. Okay, so now we have one last paragraph left, paragraph G. And here we go. It's a short little paragraph. Where do we go from here? What heights will buildings of the future reach? Will we one day construct buildings that reach into space? While the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings may no longer be proximity to the gods, the desire to touch the sky with our creation remains. So that's a nice conclusion. That's what a good conclusion should look like in your writing as well. And here we go. What's the thought? What's the consensus? Which one is the best answer here? All right, I see some correct answers coming up. Looking towards the future. Yeah, I would say that's correct. So looking towards the future. So here we go. Looking towards the future is XI or 11. Okay, now don't forget what you did at the beginning, or what we did in this case. We said that paragraph A could be either 7 or 8. Okay, so let's not forget to go back to this paragraph A and just double check our answers. Now, if you're a quick reader and you have an extra 30 seconds or an extra 20 seconds, you might want to go back and read that paragraph again. Okay, so the paragraph reads, the desire to construct taller and taller structures has been a part of human culture for at least 4,500 years, dating back to ancient Egypt and through modern day. The construction of tall structures has mirrored advances in technology, logistics, and engineering. Today, the world's tallest buildings are landmarks, tourist attractions, and points of civic and national pride for residents. So I ask you a second time, what do you think is the answer for paragraph A? Is it 7, a part of human history, or 8, technology, logistics, and engineering? What do you think? What do you think is it? What is it for paragraph A? 7 or 8? What is the better answer? Both answers are okay, but sometimes IELTS is looking for the best answer. All right, well, I'm sorry to disappoint those of you who are answering 7, who are answering 8. The best answer is 7, okay? So it's a part of human history. There's a lot more information about tallest buildings being a part of human history than simply just technology and so on, okay? So yeah, I made a mistake there and said 8, Alejandro, but yeah, no, the correct answer is 7 here, okay? There's a lot more in this paragraph about human history. Yeah, culture is synonymous to history here, but not only that, it also talks about modern day as well. So it goes all the way from 4,500 years ago to talking about today, okay? Benson's asking if I can explain the last sentence of the last paragraph. Let me see what that is. I'll do that now, okay? Again, guys and girls, if you have something really important, don't forget to use Super Chat. You do sponsor us. It puts food in the mouth of all of us working in the company. And it's easier for us to pay attention to those questions. So Benson asks, can I explain this? While the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings may no longer be proximity to the gods, the desire to touch the sky with our creations remains. Okay? So, the impetus means the motivation. Okay, so our motivation, the reason why we build these big buildings is no longer to get closer to the gods. The reason it says that is because, remember, in the beginning it said that Egyptians built the pyramids to be closer to the gods, the most ancient structures or tall structures. These days we don't do that anymore. That's not the reason why we want to be higher and higher. It's other reasons. And then, of course, this is a sentence that uses a subordinating conjunction while, so it's showing contrast or showing opposition. So it says, while the impetus for the construction of taller and taller buildings is no longer to be closer to the gods, proximity means in the area of or closer to. The desire, so the want to touch the sky, the want to be close to the sky or close to the heavens, with what we build is still in effect. So we still want to reach closer and closer to high up in the clouds. If I want to paraphrase this more, then I can grammatically paraphrase it and with synonyms. So the need to be closer to the clouds with what we build is no longer the same as in ancient Egyptian times, which was to be near the gods, but yet we still want to build these tall buildings, okay? This text, if you want to download it, you have to join our full course, Ashraf, at aehelp.com. I'll tell you more about that in a minute, but let's look at some of the other questions, okay? So let's look at the yes, no, and not given questions. So again, a little bit of review on the strategy of yes, no, not given questions. There's some very effective, clear strategy for this type of question. For those of you who watch my lessons regularly, you know what strategy you should be using. So yes, if the statement agrees with the writer or what they say, no if it contradicts, and not given if it's not possible to say what the writer thinks about it. So the best strategy for this is just a review. I'm not going into a lot of detail here, is ask questions, okay? So ask questions for the questions. So the Great Pyramid was the world's tallest building for over 4,000 years, okay? What's the question I need to ask here? I'm sure there's probably a couple of you who watch my classes. It's not, is it mentioned? Because that's a little bit down the line for not given types. It's not, is it mentioned? The question is it important for this topic? Okay, so the first question you should ask is it important for the topic? Yes, so it has to be either yes or no, right? So it's yes. Then I ask another question. What's the next question I ask? What is my next question? My next question is it true? And hopefully you remember from the text. So is it true that the Great Pyramid was the world's tallest building for 4,000 years? So we know it's important for the topic, so it's most likely included in the text. Then we say, is it true? Is it true? Yes, I do believe it was 4,500 years. I mean, we don't need to look for all of these answers. We should remember what we read. But here you see it says, let's see, I believe it says that it is. So here we go. Reaching a height of 481 feet at the time of construction, the Great Pyramid was the tallest structure in the world for almost 4,000 years. So if we're not sure, yeah, definitely check. I thought it was true. But we have to pay attention to the word almost here. Careful, sometimes IELTS is a little bit tricky. If you're not sure, it's easy to skim or scan for the word 4,000 years, but definitely included in there. So if we go back to the question... So is it important for the topic? Yes. Is it true? Was it the tallest building for over 4,000 years? No, right? So it's not true. So the answer, therefore, is no. Okay? Little bit of a tricky situation there with the almost 4,000 years and over 4,000 years, but you do have to pay attention to this one little key word that might mess you up. So the answer here is no. Okay, 8. Erosion caused the Strasbourg Cathedral to lose some of its height. Okay, so is it important for the... is it important for the topic whether or not the Strasbourg Cathedral lost some of its height due to erosion? No, it's not, okay? Don't confuse it with the pyramid. So this is not important. And if something was built in the last 500 years, it's probably not true anyway. But the author doesn't talk about this. The author doesn't say anything about the Strasbourg Cathedral losing its height. It talks about the pyramid, which is thousands of years old, but not about the specific cathedral. It talks about the cathedral, but it doesn't talk about it losing its height. It's not important for this topic, so the answer is not given. Okay? It's not given in this case. So for those of you who said not given, you're correct. The Washington Monument is the world's tallest all-stone obelisk. Is it important for the topic? So is it important to know whether or not this obelisk is the world's tallest all-stone obelisk? Yes, definitely talks about this. Is it true? So is it true? Yeah, yes, it is. Absolutely. And there haven't been too many of these built, so you can even assume that it's true. Okay? So it is the world's tallest obelisk. So the answer here is yes. Here it's not given. We can look back at it. So again, if you're confused, finding the Washington Monument should be pretty easy, especially if you're looking for the word Washington. Okay, so dun 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 dun. Here we go. So the Washington Monument, standing 555 feet in Washington, D.C., is also the world's tallest obelisk and tallest all-stone structure. So, and it's simple present tense, so it means it's true now. So it's tallest obelisk and tallest all-stone structure. So indeed, it has to be the tallest all-stone obelisk. Okay, so it has to be true in this case. Okay. But if you're confident, you shouldn't go back for all the questions, okay? When you're doing the official IELTS, and you should practice this at home, you shouldn't be looking in the passage for each time that you want to find an answer. Maximum 40%, okay? So 40% of your answers you can look for in the passage, but at least 60% of your answers you should be able to get from your critical thinking and from reading the passage accurately. Okay. The Eiffel Tower took over 40 years to build. Is it important for the topic to know how long the Eiffel Tower took to build? No, it's not. Pay attention to the verbs. Took to build. So not how long it was the structure, but how long it took to build. Do you think that the Eiffel Tower actually took 40 years to build? No, because there was already a lot of industrial acceleration, which we know at that time. So it never took 40 years to build, but it doesn't even talk about how long it took to build. It's not really important for this topic. So no, it's not important for the topic. So in this case, it's not given. Okay, so the correct answers here are no, not given, yes, not given. Okay. It does talk about the Eiffel Tower, but it only says that the Eiffel Tower was also a very tall building, which was the tallest for 40 years. Okay, so that's all that it says there. All right. Again, you can go back and review this later. This lesson is being recorded. You will be able to watch it again on the channel. Just make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you can see this and our other 100 videos, more than 100. I think there's 140 videos now on the channel. So you can watch all of those, subscribe there. And of course, for all of our high definition videos, watch them from your home in the comfort of your couch. aehelp.com, academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS, and use coupon code LIVE20 for a 20% discount, okay? And I'll tell you about some Skype live speaking interview options at the end of the lesson today, but we have one more or two more questions. These are multiple choice. Choose the correct letter, A, B, C, or D. Yesterday's lesson, El Matador, is also up. Yep, it's also up. You can find that there. And tomorrow, guys and girls, I'm going to be doing speaking. I'm going to be doing 2 classes. So every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm going to do 2 classes. And then Thursdays and Wednesdays, I'll do 1 classes, okay? All right, so let's answer these last 2 questions, and then we can talk about class times and logistics. So if you have questions about the class times and everything, then we'll talk about that after. Writing was yesterday, Subhash, so look at yesterday's class. That was yesterday. All right, so choose the correct letter, A, B, C, or D. Write the correct letter in boxes 11 to 13. Make sure you're always writing into the correct spaces on IELTS. If you don't do that, even if you have a correct answer, they'll mark it wrong. Okay, they do not show you mercy, unfortunately. So number 11, what was the world's tallest building in 1960? Okay, don't look at the answers. I'm going to stand right here. Don't look at the answers. What do you think? Without reading the answers, in 1960, what was the world's tallest building? Oh, the Burj Khalifa is much, much more modern than that, Subhash. There's only basically 2 that you might wonder about. Okay, so some of you are saying Empire State Building, some of you are saying the CN Tower. When was the CN Tower built? So Empire State Building has a very good chance of being the right answer. When was the CN Tower built? Well, if we're really confused, we can go back to the CN Tower. Here we go. After that, in the United States, 1975 saw Toronto, Canada's CN Tower steal away the title. So indeed, for those of you who correctly remembered this, the answer is the Eiffel Tower. The CN Tower wasn't built until 1975. Okay, that's a good piece of history to know. Burj Khalifa was much more recently in the 2000s. All right, last question, or last two questions, sorry. What, according to some commentators, is the difference between buildings and structures? Don't look at the answers. Okay, the strategy for multiple choice is you should always try to answer the question from your own mind or your own brain first. All right, so the question here is, what is the difference between buildings and structures? So answer it from your own brain before you choose the answer. A lot of students, they try to get the answer from the choices and they don't even use their own thoughts, and that's a problem. So a building needs to be occupied or needs to be worked in, right? A structure can be just something void of human life, right? So let's see if something matches. Buildings are made of different materials, probably not. Buildings were constructed after 1932, probably not. Buildings are designed for people to spend time in. That's probably the right one there, is C. Okay, all right, one more. Oh, haven't installed the touch screen yet for the projector. We'll do that probably today. And then you'll see me touching away on the whiteboard. Okay, which statement best summarizes the message of the passage? Humans have an implacable desire to build towards the sky. Humans will always build higher and higher because they want to get closer to the gods. Human engineering mirrors the heights of buildings throughout history. It is human nature to seek knowledge. Which one do you think is the best answer, which encompasses the entirety, the wholeness of this passage? A lot of C's coming up. I agree with you. C, human engineering mirrors the height of human buildings throughout history. So throughout this passage, there's a lot of information that as technology develops, so does our ability to build higher and higher buildings in history. Okay, so that is the second lesson for today. I hope that you followed the lesson and understood it as well as you can. Again, you can review this on our website, and here we have some information for you. Okay, so there we go. So this was IELTS Reading Example Lesson 2 for today. Again, our materials are coming from aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. Use coupon code LIVE20 for a 20% discount. Donate through Super Chat. That's through the little dollar sign beside the emoji there on your chat screen, so you can donate a couple dollars. I will be doing speaking lessons tomorrow and teaching you some strategies on how to improve your speaking scores. You can contact me for Skype lessons, okay? So for getting Skype lessons with me, you can contact me at adrian@aehelp.com. That's my email. That's my company email. You can contact me there, and then I can give you more information about how that works. Tomorrow we'll be speaking the same time. I will have one of the classes, and the first class will be 3 hours before. So that's noon Brussels Central European time for class number 1, and class number 2, which is usually a little bit higher level, a little bit faster, is 3 p.m. Brussels time. Right now, I'm in Europe. I'm setting up some offices here. I will be here for about 6 months to a year, and then I'm back to Canada where we have our main offices, and then we will be continuing projects there. So we'll establish offices in Europe and in Canada, and that will give you some good choices in broadcasting and so on. Right now I'm in Budapest, Hungary. Budapest, Hungary. So, all right. So again, make sure to check out our websites. It's some of the best IELTS learning in the world on our websites. You can use it on your tablet, on your phone, anywhere you are. It was great seeing so many of you join this class today, and also it was great that you engaged the class with lots of questions and answers. Never be shy. Always try your best. Always do your best. Never give up. I'm cheering for all of you doing your IELTS this weekend. If you have questions, send us an email. Contact us through our website. Much love, everyone. Bye for now, and I will hopefully see you in tomorrow's speaking class. Again, check us out at aehelp.com and gieltshelp.com. Bye-bye.